Hey, yo, what up, everybody? It is Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's your boys with the Mike and Mish show. What up, Mike?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome. You went
Here
right
we
to the yuck it up voice before we even started the goddamn show. Look at you, brother.
Yeah.
Well,
what is going on?
We're back at it.
Been away forever.
I know, but it's only been 7 days. So this is the feeling that you got to get used to, knowing that we are doing Wednesday shows now. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have two awesome guests for everybody that's tuning in tonight. We have the reigning defending strawweight champion, Britain Hart, coming on first, and then we're going to follow her up with one half of the co-main event for the second night. Right? Am I right about that? Second night, right?
Second night, third night, fifth night.
I don't know. It's one of them fucking nights. One of them nights. The BKFC is introducing a featherweight title, and one half of that fight will be Jessica Borga taking on Hannah Rank, and we're going to have Jessica Borga coming on. Yeah,
that's day two. Day
two. So, Mike, I say we get right into the goddamn show when we get this thing going.
Oh my God! Okay.
Unless you have something important you want to talk about.
No. Absolutely, the important people are waiting.
Okay, so let's shout out our sponsors and get the show on the road. Let's go.
Hey, Dynamic Life, sexual health, weight loss, and anti-aging. Retake control of your life by reaching optimal health. Visit www.livedynamic.com. It's the only online platform where you can become a patient in under 20 seconds. Also, check out their Instagram page at Live Dynamic. That's L-I-V Dynamic on Instagram.
Dude, you were yucking it up so hard that you couldn't even keep it straight.
It made me laugh. Yeah, sorry, I broke character there for a second because it really made me laugh.
I'll give the yuck it up voice a try. Remember, I tried it once before, and
you gotta really get into it. You can feel it in your chest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, get over to Rasha Elite Performance at Rasha Elite on Instagram. It is the official mindset, recovery, and performance partner of the BKFC, Christine Faria, No Doubt Trout, and many more, including Elvin Brito and the people you are looking at right now, Mike and Mish. Get yourself to at RashaElite.com. I fucked that one up, but I tried.
I thought it was amazing, personally.
Dude, not everybody can yuck it up like you, Mike.
I'm a little biased, so I thought it was great.
Oh, I tried. Hey, we got two guests tonight. We got Britain Hart and Jessica Borga. What do you say we go ahead and bring our first guest on, Mike?
Yeah. Let's do it. All right, everybody. When we come back, we will be joined by the one and only Britain Hart.
Hey, put them up. That's right.
Watch out, pug. Watch out. Is that a pug?
No,
that's a
little bulldog.
Frenchie, right?
Frenchie, whatever. I'm not a big dog guy. I'm sorry. I admit.
You know what, Mike?
Right. Look, see, I'm already in jail for malicious wounding. You're next, bitch.
He's wearing a shirt, though.
No,
what's on the shirt? What's it say? Is that like a...
It says bad dog. I don't know if you can see it because it's like...
Yeah, I can see it.
We can see it.
Yeah.
He's wearing the stripe. He's wearing the striped pajamas like a freaking jailbird.
Yep.
You guys ever watch You ever watch Drop Dead Fred back in the day?
Yes. I have not.
You have not? Oh my God, Britain. Drop Dead Fred is this insanely dark comedy about a girl who has a imaginary friend as a kid, and then she gets divorced, and because she's lonely, this imaginary friend that left her when she was 8 comes back to her at 30, and he is a fucking maniac, and they keep having flashbacks, and there's a point in the show where she robs the house with her imaginary friend with like hammers and everything, breaks windows, but he paints their shit striped like that. He was like, yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch that. That's cool. Yeah, I've never heard of it, and I believe that we talked. I never watched that movie Django. Is that how you? And
you watched it?
I was like, I can't believe I've never seen that. But anyways, there's some movies out there that I'm like, wow, how have I never heard of them?
Right?
Absolutely crazy. That movie
nowadays they make so many movies and shows. I can't even keep up anymore. I'm like, oh, I want to watch that, and then 2 years later I'll see it and be like, oh, I forgot all about that movie because 800 other things came out that I can't watch.
Do you know what do you know what I just watched? And Mike's like, dude, I watched that during COVID when Britain Hart was training to fight for fucking Paige Van Zant in the heart of COVID. Everybody else in the world was watching Tiger King. I just watched it last week.
Oh my gosh. I remember that coming out, and I watched one episode and was like major eye roll. I was like, oh my God, I just lost like brain cells. I'm not watching this shit. And then I would put it on because there were so many memes and it was all over the social media world. I was like, well, damn, let me just put it on for background noise. And I think it was like the third episode. I was like, instead of just sleeping like I should have been, I'd be like, wait, what? And I started watching it. I watched the entirety of it. But again, when the whole season ended, I was like, yeah, that's brain space I'll never get back.
It's so crazy though. It's like beyond ridiculous, that documentary and what happened. At the part where the dude like accidentally like kills himself, like he shoots himself by do you remember that part? The guy, one of the dudes that was it one of his like lovers or whatever?
Yes, it was his.
Oh yeah, I do.
He was just messing around. It was like in the middle of the show, all of a sudden that happens, and I was like, "What? What?" It was crazy. I was like, "What the heck is going on with this?" It's probably one of the wildest documentaries I've ever seen in my life.
It is a train wreck.
Yeah, and the whole time I was thinking Carol, I was like, "Yo, that Carol girl, she's coming for him hard."
Yeah, she is.
Fuck Carol Baskin. Yeah, fuck Carol Baskin.
Hey, you think she'd really throw her husband out of a helicopter over the ocean?
She's guilty,
right?
For sure. Britain, do you know that you were the 11th guest in the history of this podcast, which started off as the Mission Accomplished podcast and morphed into the Mike and Mish show? And you were on episode 6 of the Mike and Mish show, and you are now on episode 327. Isn't that nuts?
300. Wow, that's cool. That's like being like BKFC number 2 to what's this Dubai one gonna be? I can't even remember.
I don't think it's numbered, but it's pretty wild. I went back and just for shits and giggles today, because you are now, with this appearance on the show, you have the most appearances by a female fighter. You have 10. 10.
What?
This is your 10th. 10 times out of 327 episodes you have been on this show, you just took the lead over Crystal Pittman. You guys were tied at 9 appearances apiece. So congratulations. So I was like, you know what? She's coming on for the 10th time. I'm going to go watch our first interview ever. And I got to tell you, it was a good fucking interview, Britain. You were very young in your career. You were 3 fights in. You were getting ready to fight Paige. And you were standing out in the warehouse. And you ever want to laugh from the past, go back to the episode 11 of Mission Accomplished and check that out because it was really good. And I had a beard and I had no glasses. I had a beard. You looked like you had chubby cheeks because you were fighting at 125. So you were like little squishy cheeks a little bit, but it was great. So
okay, so I don't have squishy cheeks right now, do I? Because I was like, oh my gosh, I put on some muscle. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I've really been trying to put on some muscle. And I'm like, does that mean my cheeks look kind of fat now too? But
no, you look great. Hey, so you're back, and we're gonna get right into this because we got you for 20 minutes here, and I want to talk to you about we talked to you 2 years ago when you fought in Virginia. You beat Jenny Savage, and we asked you what you wanted to do next, and you said you wanted to fight overseas.
Yes.
It has taken 2 years for that to happen. What is the holdup here, and why have we only seen you fight twice since that day?
No kidding. Well, that one was a little bit. What an awesome fight in Virginia. I still feel like one of my best performances. Not favorite fight, but best performances against Melanie Shaw. And I broke my hand in that fight. So
Hold up. Britain, hold on. Stop. You're breaking up like huge. Like, I don't know if you're
Yeah, you had perfect service before.
you had
but
perfect
now you're
service,
really
and now we can barely hear you.
Let's see. Well, I think she's coming back here. Let's see.
We'll see here. We got to get this conversation. We got to
Yeah,
hear what she has
yeah,
to
yeah.
say about this for sure.
So I can't believe that she's only fought twice since then, because that was so long ago.
Hey, she fought 2 times in 2023. It was Jenny Savage and then Melanie Shaw.
Yep.
And then we didn't see her again until Sturgis, which was August of 2024.
Yeah.
Right? August.
Yeah.
And then we haven't seen her since. So for someone that has, I think this will be her 12th fight in the BKFC, or maybe this will be her 13th fight. Let's get her on here. Oh, hey,
Sorry,
you're better now.
I can't. Was that my internet or yours?
I think it was yours because we stayed trucking right along while you were trying to figure that out. So I think it was you. But anyways, hey, so let's recap our question here. You fought Jenny Savage in March of 2023. You fought Melanie Shaw later on that year. Then we didn't see you again until Sturgis, which was August 2024. Now August to April, long gaps in between your fights. And for someone that has fought so many times for the company, it's hard to believe that only 3 of them have happened in the last 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the big issues and problems I'm facing, to be honest with you. So it's been a struggle. They don't really tell you that, but like they kind of do. They say, it's just as hard when you get to the top. But they try to like say there's a bunch of other like political things and justifying who gets a shot at the belt or the title. And yeah, it really kind of sucks for me, to be honest. Like I'm trying to stay ready and I want to be there. And then it's just a matter of finding women and women that make sense to fight. But then you look at these things like overseas and I'm like, well, man, there's got to be someone in the UK. There's Poe in Thailand. Even I would even still like, Fanny is a really great fighter for the BKFC organization. There's a few fighters here in the US that, I seem to have beef with that I would love fighting just to not go to jail. So, I mean, to me, there's options. But, I guess with BKFC, they're going through their changes and adjustments. But it is kind of one of those things for me that I'm like, man, if I'm going to be fighting, really, like you said, once a year, basically, like, it would be nice to not have to work another job and struggle and wait and be like, man, I need this next fight,
It's crazy because this will be your 13th fight, right? And that is an insane amount of fights for the company. But just to think that only 3 of them have happened in the last 2 years, that means you fought a shit ton for the company at the beginning, and you had the 2 losses to the 2 champions at the beginning, but you have been pretty much successful ever since. You had the 1 loss to Misfit again, which was a very close fight, but you frequently win, and I wonder if you are just a victim of your own success, and if that is the case, it fucking sucks. They just got to just say, forget that shit. You can't use the excuse that like this person's not good enough for Britain. You just got to keep the champion active. You know what I mean? If they have a top 5, which don't get me started on that, but if they have a top 5, they have numbers next to names, they could justify making fucking fights. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And really goes at the end of the day is that bare knuckle is like no soft landing. So if anyone who wants to come in and get some, and it doesn't have to be like I even said that too. Like it doesn't have to be for the belt. Like if they don't want to justify putting it on. But then that would suck. You have a 115 come in and they're going to fight, the champ. They might as well have, put the belt up. I guess it doesn't really make sense, although I really don't see myself losing, period. But, it would be, I think when we look at it like in the sports world and entertainment world, it kind of goes like with football. You don't say, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they lost the Super Bowl, you don't say, oh, they don't get to go to Super Bowl because they've been in it the last 3 times and they're just way better than the other teams. It's like, damn, if this is the 2 teams that made it, these are the 2 fighters that made it, and sometimes those are the ones that come out. Like I know so many underdog long shot victories that no one saw coming. That can always happen in sports. So there's always that justification too. And at the end of the day, if your favorite fighter and someone's like, wow, I love watching Britain Hart, then I guess it doesn't really matter who they put in front of me. I'm always going to deliver and have exciting fights and be fun to watch. So yeah, it's kind of a struggle I've been dealing with the last couple of years.
Yeah. What do you think is the issue with getting more female fighters? Is it just the fact that females don't want to come to bare knuckle? What do you think it is? Because like it's just like an ongoing issue, it's every division. Sure, there's more fighters at the 125, and then there was some at 115. But like, yeah, we're gonna have a featherweight championship, but how many people are gonna be fighting for that title after this fight? You know what I mean? Like we know it's going to be few and far in between. So it's going to be almost the same thing where, you're going to have the same title holders probably in 3 divisions now for a long time. And they just can't seem to get anybody. What do you think? What's the holdup here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, your pool is going to come from MMA girls, and even MMA girls are like, it's boxers kind of are like every boxer I talk to, and they're like, yo, that bare knuckle stuff is just crazy. I think they're just more in fear of like breaking their hands and having their career, maybe benched. Look at me. Like if something happens, then you're a year without being able to make money or do something. I think that could be scary for some people, male and female, but the MMA world is definitely quicker to pick it up because again, when they think bare knuckles brutal, I'm like, dude, you guys take head kicks and elbows and like shit, that's brutal too, more than I would think a punch would be. But I think that they just expect a lot of money to be in it, and so a lot of people are like, well, I'd only do bare knuckle if I'm getting like 40, 50 grand. And that's just not the case with the fighters right now coming in.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate too. But the company is growing and we have been along on the ride with you guys and we've hung out quite a few times recently, us and you and your boyfriend and a couple other people, because you haven't been on the card. So we've been getting to hang out with you, have super fun times with Britain Hart and her people.
Spain especially.
Marbella, Spain was
Spain
the
was
fun.
awesome.
Like that was insanely fun.
Epic.
It was like you couldn't dream a better freaking trip than that. But like you could tell that Connor really likes you. Like we talked to Connor backstage after the Sturgis fight, and he was like glowing about you and Taylor's fight. He's like, that is how you do it. That's how you carry a show. He was so happy about the outcome of your fight. You could tell that like now, him being him and being a part owner of the company and being a fan of yours, I would imagine that they would try to get you in there more often. Now there has been a long gap, but you are getting put on one of the biggest events they're ever going to do, a 2-day long event. And you're fighting a girl that we may have seen coming and may have a few other like people in the industry, who may have heard some rumblings about it. But I think the outsiders that aren't like, I'm sorry about the terminology, but like balls deep in the industry, like we are, like fucking, we are all the way in. So we are hearing all these things. The normal people did not see Ty Emery coming, I don't think. So can you walk us through that one? You were originally talking about Poe and you were talking about Fanny and those girls, and then Ty Emery pops up. And here we are. You're going to be kicking off. You're going to be co-main event on the first day of a 2-day extravaganza in freaking Dubai, which is insane. Ty Emery's the person opposite you on the scratch line. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I think now obviously it's not a shock, but I do believe that in Sturgis, which again was such an awesome fight, epic experience. Definitely my favorite fight overall to date. But this Dubai one is going to be huge, so I'm just expecting Dubai to blow everything out of the water. But I was kind of shocked to hear Ty when I won the fight and they mentioned her name. And I think it's because she had like this awesome catch weight fight with Charissa Sagala, who I had fought previously. And it was a first round knockout. And she's just, a force to be reckoned with. So she does have more fights than the typical female in bare knuckle. But really, I think just her drive and her wanting it. You don't really hear anything from really any of the girls. I haven't heard anything from Poe. I haven't heard anything from, really just like, again, it's just been kind of crickets out there. But Ty has always been one who's been actively, hey, I want to be the best. I want to challenge myself. I want to see what I got. I knew that from her, and I was thinking that more in the 125 because I didn't think she would make 115. So when they mentioned her name, I was kind of like, whoa, I never saw that coming. Like, that was news to me. Because I remember back in the day, actually, it was funny, we used to kind of bicker over something. I say it's kind of cool because we're really the only BKFC viral girls. Like, any other girl really doesn't have viral moments unless they were. No, I guess Taylor has some, with the one fight against Charissa as well.
Yeah. Yep.
But with the cute, it circles when she's like, oh, I had fun doing it, kind of like with Melanie Shaw. But me and Ty have got some vicious viral moments out there that definitely highlight us. And so anyways, point being, it was a little bit like of a whoa in Sturgis. And then the more I thought about it, I was just like, well, that's kind of that's what I've been asking for, is to have that respect, have that opponent be like, man, I want to challenge myself against the best. And it makes me think of the why and the passion that this sport offers and brings. So I'm really excited about it. Damn, she's an athlete. She used to play, for football, even though it was like the bikini football league. But she just did that power slap. A fighter like that is someone who's always hungry and trying to get into something. It is definitely, a worthy opponent and something that makes sense. Really don't think of anybody else, obviously, besides Poe. And then the other people that I said that, I just don't want to go to jail for. But other than that, Ty is going to be the one that's, again, a lot of people question my power and my ability to take power. So being that she's had two first round knockouts, it's going to be show everyone who I am and what I'm really made of.
It's awesome. And I want to go just to a little blast from the past. When I talked to you, the first time I ever talked to you, I talked about your progression from fight 1 to fight 2 to fight 3. Now you're going into fight 13. And every time we see you go out there, it seems like it's a new version of you. And you really are there's really only two at the top of the game in the BKFC, in our opinion, in our humble opinion, and it's you and Misfit, right? You and Misfit are the top dogs, and there's no one really there to knock you off. Does Ty Emery have what it takes to knock this version of Britain off her pedestal? Because I'm not sure about that. Other than power and athleticism.
Man.
Did you lose us? Oh, there you go. You back? Yeah, I think she lost us again. She was trying to find some signal there as you were asking her that question.
You should like I know everybody's a fan of Britain, but you should go back and like really deep dive her progression from fight 1 to fight now, because it is insane. And Ryan Perez is over here in the comment section on Instagram saying she's hands down the best fighter in the BKFC without question. There's nobody even close. And like I was saying, Britain, progression from fight 1 to fight 12, and now you're going into 13. You have shown ultimate progression. Like you are the top of the heap, and there's not even anybody really even close besides you and Misfit. Like it's you two up there, and then everyone else. Besides power and athleticism, is Ty Emery have? Do you see a threat there?
I really just think that for me personally, I have the belief that nobody beats me at 115. It's not that I underestimate anyone or take anyone lightly, but anybody can be a threat on any given day, and no one gets that more than me. So I think I get offended when people say that I underestimate people or don't look at someone like that. But it's the fact that I fear myself and what I bring to the table, and me being my worst critic more than anything else. So as long as I stay, in the positive, happy, surround myself with good people and believe in myself, I really don't think Godzilla is a threat. So take that for what it means.
I mean, you've literally fought every single female fighter that has a name in the sport, right? You fought them all. And it's kind of wild to think about. You've got this progression going and you've been fighting since the very beginning. So, say in 20 years, we're watching BKFC, you're going to hear, you might even be a commentator for all we know, right? You could be one, but we're going to hear the commentators saying like, this person has a style like Britain Hart. This is what Britain did in X fight during, whatever. Like anytime you watch UFC or if you watch boxing, they always call back to these fights and how a style of somebody, this is the beginning. We're watching it. So people are going to call back. I mean, how does it, did you realize that like this is going to be something when you're starting this out, are you ever thinking like in the future that you're going to have such an impact on this sport?
Yeah, I did actually. I know it sounds wild and crazy, but when I first started it, like I said, everyone was kind of mean about it. Some people banned me and barred me from boxing. They were like, we're not going to allow you to box here if you keep doing this bare knuckle shit. Yeah. A lot of people in the boxing world were like, dude, stay away from that shit. Like, like, why would you do that? A lot of people were mean. Personally, they were like, dude, you're a smart girl. You have a master's degree. Why would you go and do this? Like, you're so stupid. But I saw the bigger picture. I was like, look, boxing, it's going to be hard for me to break my name into it because there's so many females there that have already established it. They come from family, they have money, they have sponsors, and I have nothing but like just a heart full of passion and dreams, and I just love to do things to the best of my ability, especially when I'm great at them. And I really just saw, and that's kind of how BKFC 2 was pitched to me. Honestly, I was like, dude, I really want to be great. Like, I want to be a legend and somebody in the history books. And they were like, well, damn, Britt, here's your chance. You get to be the main event as a woman. And I really think you beat this girl. This girl is just a name. And here it is. Fast forward, I didn't beat her that first time. It was a split decision, but I got my rematch and I did beat her. So it just kind of showed to me that you can do anything. And I did believe in it from even before I fought BKFC 2 against Beck. I was like, I can beat her and I can be a star and I can be the best in the sport. So yeah, I really did. So that's why I took the fights, even with the Pearl Gonzalez. I remember that fight was spin around because after my Jenny Savage fight, I was kind of like, someone asked me what I thought of it. And I was like, oh, that's going to be an easy fight. So then when they gave it to me on a 3 weeks notice. And they're like, well, Britt, you said it was going to be easy, right? And I was like, damn, well, I thought I would get more than 3 weeks notice, but here we go. And, I won that fight. And so to me, it's just like, wow, like to have the ability to do that and love fighting and be, you know,
Prove them all wrong.
that good without a training camp or a fight camp. Just imagine what I could do with the right people behind me and resources and with the proper training and with the right time frame. And now I've made all that to where it is undeniable, where I am the champ, where I have the most fights. So maybe I'm not making like the money that I want or anything like that, but I'm getting the respect and I'm showing people that like, wow, look what this girl can do when she's prepared. She was a threat on two. I mean, I think the shortest fight I ever took was a 4 days notice. And again, it was against a girl who was 5-0. And just to have that, like, we just want, I feel like, to when we were fighting and following fighters, like, it is true. Anyone can go to the gym and learn a jab, cross, and a hook. And I encourage everybody to go and do that. Anyone can learn it. I'm telling you. But is it for them to go in the ring and to be able to do it like that? In front of people watching, in front of no people watching, but with another person. It doesn't matter. Can you actually fight when someone's not instructing you what numbers to throw, or you're just hitting a bag that doesn't hit back? And I really feel like I have that talent to where other people don't really have my style. Like you were saying, it is going to be like, I think Taylor was even saying, oh, the Britain Hart clinch, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. But the fact was is she was the very beginning of someone saying the Britain Hart clinch. Like there's only one, you know, one of a kind that does that, and it works, whether you want to admit it or not. And so I feel like my fight style, Chris Lights Out Lytle said it in a commentating one time. He was like, wow, you're literally seeing someone hone in and develop their own unique style. And that style has just been, I want to say, kind of the same, but always evolving. Like every fight has been Britain Hart, but with that, that 3.0, 4.0, fast forward 11, 12.0 type of vibe where there's like, oh, wait, we haven't seen that yet. Or damn, we knew she had it in her.
And before we wrap it up with you, you did mention Chris Lytle commentating, and that is something earlier in your career when we had talked on this show 300 episodes ago, 300 plus, you were 3 fights into your career, and that was one of the things you said. You watch your fights back and you feel a little disrespected with some of the commentary because Antonio Tarver was like dogging you your first 2 fights. And then your third fight against Randine, they had a guest commentator by the name of Paige Van Zant, and Paige Van Zant was calling you, you have a sloppy jab. Randine's remember that? Do you remember that?
Nerve.
Well, yeah, channel that. All right. Well, nowadays, flash forward 3-4 years, the commentators are respecting you and your name and your body of work. And I think you've really established yourself as one of the best that have ever done it. And we're excited about Dubai, Ty Amory. Everybody's going to be pumped up and tuning in. Whatever time of the day that's going to be, it'll probably be like an afternoon event here, right? I'm guessing.
I think so, like 3 or 4 for the main event at least.
All right, but hey,
1 p.m. right now. 1 p.m. Eastern. Yep.
All right. Well, we love talking to you, Britain, and we're going to wrap it up with you, but we have a 5-question speed round with you because one time we didn't do a speed round with you and you were like, what the fuck, where's the speed round? So we're going to always do one with Britain Hart. Real quick, number 1, we know you're into music. Give us your number 1 music artist from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. Go. 80s, 90s, 2000s. 80s.
Gosh. All right.
Yeah, come on.
80s. What a feeling. That's an 80s song, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. That's good.
I don't know who sings it, but that's good enough.
Nope.
How about 90s?
90s. Hit me, baby, one more time.
Oh, Britney Spears.
Yeah, nice. And now 2000s. Pick one.
I'm locked up. They won't let me out.
Akon. There we go. All right. Number 2.
What a Feeling is by Irene Cara.
There we go.
So, would have never guessed that. Number 2, describe the perfect way to start your day. Perfect way to start your day.
Britain Hart.
With an energy drink.
That's it.
Not coffee, like a Monster instead.
Yeah,
no coffee.
Or, shout out to Brawl Energy. I don't know if I have the best day. Anytime I have like a hiccup in my day or like something's wrong, I'm like, man, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, I didn't get an energy drink first thing in the morning, but I'm telling you, I don't go to the bathroom. I literally walk to the fridge and get one and then do all the rest. And I'm like, yes, awesome. But I don't know, it's something about having that, like, the carbonation fizzy. That's why coffee doesn't work for me. Coffee is not it. But the energy drink is.
Well, you're talking to a couple Army guys that we live off coffee. Number 3, describe the perfect way to end your night. You just gave us your beginning of your day. How do you end your night?
The perfect way, with a really awesome, great day at the gym, good sparring, or a knockout.
There you go. Number 4.
If you could eliminate one fighter off the BKFC roster using your fist, who would that be?
Wow. Honestly, no disrespect, because she's all right, I guess. But Christine Ferreira, because I'm fucking so tired of being number 2 for pound. Go away. I would knock her out with my fist if I could, but
All right. Well, good answer. And your last one for you. We know you're an animal lover. If you could come back as an animal, which one would it be and why?
Oh gosh. Normally I'm really with the sharks. I love sharks, but I've been watching these killer whales like go after sharks and eat their livers. So I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't know. I don't want bad luck for the liver shot. You know what? I would come back an eagle.
An eagle. Dude, I like your answer. You mentioned the shark thing. I watched a video. Did you guys see this video? Another reason to stay the fuck out of the ocean. Did you guys see the kid on the kayak get swallowed by the humpback whale and then spit back out? Dude, come on.
No way. That's AI.
Oh,
I don't think so. It was on the news.
Dad, wasn't it?
Right. It was recorded by his father, and the news played it. They played the whole video. The kid doesn't die. The humpback whale comes up and fucking engulfs the whole kid and the raft, and then all of a sudden he pops up back out of the water. Fuck all that shit. Anyways, another reason to stay out of the ocean. Stay out of the ocean. Britain Hart, you are our 2024 Female Fighter of the Year, fan voted by our audience as well. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for coming on the show. Best of luck to you in Dubai against Ty Emery. Do you want a second to shout a few people out before we let you go?
Yes. Shout out you two always. Absolutely love our journey together, from podcasts to fights to trips. I mean, even looking at those pictures at the intro just made that honestly, boom, that was the perfect way to end my night, with great memories, with great friends, and my fight family. But I also do want to shout out Lab 111. We do have some awesome things with my brand, specifically Warrior Shield. We're looking for ambassadors, so hit me up if you want to be an ambassador in our Warrior Shield program. And then also we are recording our first song together, so that's pretty exciting news. So be on the lookout. We might get it released before Dubai, so that would be hot. And then the other one is Muscle Meds. So I am Team Carnivore now, which is a beef-based protein. So I'm definitely have been high protein diet and recovering, and I couldn't do it to the best of my ability without Muscle Meds. They're number 1 in the world for your number 1 in the world. So go check them out if you haven't already. And that's all I got for you guys.
Yes. Hey, are you a rapper or a singer?
In this ability, I'm a rapper, because then you heard me sing earlier, and I was like, oh gosh, people are never going to believe. But I've just been so busy. I've been busy, and I know people kind of be like, yo, Britain has a raspy voice. But when I let it rest, I can sing, but I'm going back to rapping for now.
Sick. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Mike, you got anything else for Britain Hart?
Yes. Hey, I'm picking up the awards tomorrow in Boston, and they'll be sent out. So I'm going to go pick them up early in the morning. So took a little while to get them done, but we got them done, and I'm going to pick them up and send them out. So be prepared. It'll be coming in the mail soon. Everybody else who's watching, make sure you're tuned in April 4th, which is day 1 of a 2-day event in Dubai. Hart versus Emery for the women's strawweight championship. Thank you so much for coming on, Britt. And as always, And we look forward to seeing you again and hanging out and seeing you fight more than once a year. Damn it! So
I know, right?
yes. So thank you so much, everybody who's paying attention, man. Make sure you're following Britain Hart and stay tuned because when we come back, we will be joined by Jessica Borga. Later, Britain.
Bye, Britain.
Later.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us, Jessica.
Great
What's going on?
pictures. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
You guys are always a
Yeah.
great time.
You haven't seen those pictures before, right?
No, I haven't. That was awesome. It was like a little
was thinking
flashback
that.
memory time. We
was
have to get
thinking
more
that.
in Dubai.
I take
Yeah.
so many pictures. I have so many pictures and video on my phone and on my camera and just saved on hard drives that like when we have people coming on, I'm like, I think in my head, like, oh shit, I gotta look through all these pictures again for the 8 billion time. And I go through and I find them and I'm like, oh, I don't think she's ever seen any of these pictures before.
I haven't, and I love pictures. Pictures are a frozen. You never get that back. Whenever someone's gone, that's all you got of them. So I'm all about pictures.
Yeah, that last picture of you giving me the finger,
I
that's
was
from
dying.
the weigh-ins in Spain. And I was up just recording, going back and forth, getting some B-roll, and then all of a sudden I come by you, and you just give me the finger. So I just kind of paused and took a screenshot of that. So it wasn't actually a picture; that's a little video.
Typical Borga action.
I'll send them to you after this.
Thank you.
We were just talking to Britain about all the fun times we've been having at all these events, and
I love her too. She's awesome.
dude, Marbella, Spain was really something, huh?
It was incredible. Just the time there, it's crazy. Like it was a plus seeing all the fights, but I was there to support my teammate Dave. But just the night of fights was just out of this world, and I can't wait for Dubai. It makes me just way more excited.
Fun fact: the first day that I think it was the first day we were there, right, Kai? Was it the first day we were there? We went to the media day, and you were there.
Press conference, yeah.
The press conference, yep, and you called somebody out there.
Yeah, I was trying to. They didn't want me saying anything. Yeah, and it's so funny because she keeps on saying, like she's been saying she's training for me this whole time. I'm like, who else is in the 145 fucking division? I'm sorry, but like, who else am I going to be training for? Of course, if I see someone come in, my eyes are set on you. And it was just a plus that she was there because I was there to see and support my teammate, but having her there and seeing her fight, yeah, I'm gonna call her out. She called me out first though. So
yeah, that was great, and this is the only fight that really could get made. Like you just said, there aren't really no other 145ers out there, unless like Faria was going to come up to 145 or meet you guys at 140 or something like that.
Never gonna happen. But yes. I mean, it's honestly we're taking what we can get because we're trying to build the division. That's the entire thing.
But we talked to you in Hollywood, and we talked to you about this fight and the fact that they could be putting a belt on this fight, and the fact that that is basically dangling the carrot out there. Like now there's a strap, now there's gold on the line. So all the females that have been like thinking about it, like maybe I want to do that, but I really want to become a world champion one day, but they don't have a fucking world, they don't have a belt over there.
They got to have something to work towards, and I really think that that's going to bring a lot of the people in. I really think that that's going to build this division completely, 100%.
Yeah, it's awesome, and you've done so much in your MMA career so far, and like you had only 2 fights here, but you have an opportunity to become a world champion. But not only become a world champion, you get to fight a former boxing world champion in the process of doing that. That's a pretty big honor for you, right?
It is. Honestly, even being co-main event, just in this organization, it's a huge honor all the way around. But I do think that I'm being highly underestimated by her. I just actually listened to one of her interviews that she had with the Fuse UK interviewer, and she's like talking about how my last opponents weren't true 45ers in BKFC, but neither was hers. So she forgot to put that little tad bit of information. But when I was fighting top contenders in Bellator, all my opponents were 6 foot true 145ers. And so I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I thought it was cute and funny that she doesn't think that I can handle 45ers when I handle men on a regular basis, and not in that way.
Yeah. Man, and you know what, dude? The freaking hatchet wound that you put in fucking Katarina Liner's forehead in your guys' fight should strike fear in most females' hearts a little bit. Like they cannot watch that. They cannot watch that fight and be like, she fought.
And that was a jab. That wasn't even my power hand. I mean, which both have power, but that was a jab. I looked back and I thought it was my right hand, but it was my jab. So I am highly underestimated. The threat of what I bring to the table is always highly underestimated, and I don't underestimate anybody. So I don't know. She's gonna find out quick.
What is it about this sport that like you seem like you are absolutely in love with this sport? Like this is built for you. This is your playground, and you're just having a great time in it. What is it about the sport?
I honestly, it feels like home for me. This is my style 100%. With MMA, I was good at certain things with MMA. Putting it all together wasn't my strong point. I'm proud to say, even it wasn't my strong point, but I still didn't lose but anything to decision to top contenders. So like, even though it didn't feel like this. When I did my first BKFC fight, I was like, this is 100% my style. I still love, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, but I became addicted the moment I started BKFC. So this is where I belong. This is my style. And a lot of the fighters in here are great fighters. But there is something that I bring, and I'm not being cocky. There is something that you have to have for bare knuckle, and I have it. And this is where I belong, and I'm ready, to show the world where I belong. This is it.
And you know what? You and Hannah both are like towering. Like you're in the grand scheme of things, you're not like a massive woman in like real life, but in the fight world, you tower over most of these fighters. And so does Hannah. You and Hannah kind of see eye to eye when it comes to size. I would imagine like a lot of lighter weight fighters, like 135ers out there, like take a look at you two and be like, I ain't fucking putting 10 pounds on just to fight them, so they can cut 10 pounds down from 155 and fuck my ass up. I'm not doing that shit.
And I can understand that anyone in lower divisions, stepping up, that's a huge risk for them, especially when they know they have power and stuff like that. But yeah, I can definitely see why they wouldn't.
When you sign with the company, they didn't have Connor on board. I don't know if they were with Triller yet. There was like when you fought who was your first fight? It was the girl from Boston.
Yeah, she was a last minute replacement, Sarah Click.
Sarah Click. Yeah, Sarah.
I love that girl too. She's a little brawler too. I don't care what weight class she was.
Dude,
she's a brawler.
That was BKFC 32.
Right. So I don't think so. When you signed with them and you fought Sarah, I don't think they were with Triller yet. Connor was definitely not around yet. They weren't fighting. They might have been doing some Thailand events, and they might have done the Knuckle Kingdom event over in Thailand, but they weren't like worldwide yet. Since you signed with them, the Triller merge happened. The Conor McGregor piece happens. They start putting on events like every couple months in the UK. Yeah. They go to freaking Spain, and now all of a sudden you find yourself in the co-main event on the second day of a 2-day massive extravaganza in the co-main event in Dubai. Did you ever see this coming?
No, honestly, I mean, I'm grateful for any opportunity, but this is the cherry on the top. I couldn't be more. I'm still even processing. This is surreal. I love it. I cannot wait to put on a show. That strap is already mine. I know that's her soul thing, and to try to get the two-time champ in different sports and stuff like that. But this is my time. It's my time.
Yeah, it's really crazy because yeah, you're going to fight in Florida. At least that was what we thought. And now you're in Dubai. Dubai is insane. You think they're going to build a stadium that you guys can fight in and then break it down afterwards, or just like abandon it like they do for everything else?
That would be pretty cool. But wherever they want to put me, I'm ecstatic to be there. Honestly.
Every time someone does a fighting event out there, it's like they make an island. Or they build an arena with freaking lights on the floor. There's like a screen that goes around the whole building, like some kind of crazy ass shit. And they're like, oh, it's the first time they ever used this building, and they're just never going to use it again. Like, what?
Yeah,
what the hell are they doing over there?
I mean, when you got all that kind of money and stuff, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter.
No, what the frig? I've been wearing the same shoes for 2 years. These guys are just building a stadium and just letting it go. Oh, fuck.
Dude, it's absolutely crazy. Like, when I was not in Dubai, but like that part of the world, there's so much money. And in 2003, I was stationed at a place called Camp Doha in Kuwait, and that was where all the Patriot missiles were at. And that's where like they were like firing Scud missiles at these two smokestacks. Like every day we were getting Scud attacks, but we were like doing convoys, and we're going out on the highways, and you would just see like Porsches.
The highways are fun. You're gonna love them.
Yeah, I'm talking Kuwait though. The Dubai is way nicer and everything, but there would be
I'm sure
there would be like Porsches and Range Rovers and like really nice cars just dumped on the side of the road.
That's crazy.
And we'd be like, what the fuck is that? They would like, it'd be like a guy blows out a fucking tire on his Porsche, and he's like, I'm not changing the fucking tire on this thing. Just leave it and buy a new one. Like, get somebody to pick them up and go buy a new one. Fuck it.
That's crazy.
I took a ride. So we used to ride from Camp Arif John to Ali Asalim to pick people up, because Ali Asalim was like a transient base. So I would use any excuse to get off the base we were on and get out of there, because we're there every day. So I'm like, I'm ready. We'll go. We got to pick up somebody. Let's go. We got to drop someone off. I'm ready. So I would always go. Me and this guy used to drive all the time. This guy, Chuck. So one day I said, I'm going to count the cars that are on the side of the road there and back. It's like over an hour drive each way, right? So just over 2 hours of a drive, 63 cars. And I'm talking about Cadillac Escalade on its side, just sitting out on the side of the road, like 20 feet into the dirt, like it just went off and flipped over, and then it just got out and left that shit there. Everywhere.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Yes.
It's all that oil money.
Dude. I'm just getting an Uber out of here. I don't get the fucking another car. Who cares? It's
That's
wild.
This one's done. Next.
Yep. Just leave it. Just leave it. It's too much energy to call up and have someone come pick it up. I gotta fix it. Why am I gonna fix it? Let's get a new one.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah,
Anyway.
True. It happens.
It is
wild.
crazy. So like
I looked up a lot though. I'm excited.
And getting back to what I was saying though, like when you sign with BKFC, realistically, the only companies that are like putting on events in Dubai are like the UFC. Like when you were with Bellator, they're not having events in fucking Dubai. You know what I mean?
Not when I was with them. Well,
No.
not anymore.
Not anymore either, right? So I don't think the PFL's doing anything over there. But it's like the UFC, it's like MVP, it's Most Valuable Productions with Jake Paul and those guys.
Yeah.
And now BKFC. It's like BKFC has shoehorned their way right into the conversation of the biggest companies in the combat sport world. It's fucking
They
nuts.
absolutely are. I believe they're number 2, right? It's spreading like wildfire. It's faster. I was told it was faster than what the UFC was going. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe it.
Do you wish? And now I'm just like thinking like someone who likes to have a good time. Are you wishing that you were the co-main on the first night, so that when you can get it over with and win a belt and then hang out the next day at the second day of the event?
That would be cool.
But
but you gotta save the best for last, I guess.
You gotta be on your best behavior.
You gotta be
on your best behavior.
Yeah. It does. I mean, it's gonna be interesting because 2 nights of fights. That's crazy. That's gonna be awesome. But yeah, the second night, it is what it is. I'm just happy to be there.
Yo, you know what the best part about this whole thing is? You have 2 days to display some of the best produced combat sports events that anybody will ever see. And we say it all the time, and you've been in them and you've been at them. You know that the production value of a BKFC event is top notch. It is as good as anything you'll ever see. And now they're going to go over there and all these rich, Arab dudes over there that are going to dump all this money into these events right now. I've seen it. But they may not necessarily have been to an event live. They've probably seen it. They know the growth of the company. They like the sport. Now they're going to see it live in front of them, and they're all going to just start dumping fucking dump trucks of money towards this thing. And they're going to say, "Oh, you know what we want to see? Ben Rothwell fight Francis Ngannou. Here's $40 million to get that done, please."
Oh yeah.
Hey, Jessica Borga, we want to see her fight Holly Holm. Here's a truck full of money too. Here,
Right.
I have a feeling that they're gonna see this. They're
And
gonna
fall in
see
love.
what you guys do in front of them.
Even
And
though,
they're
did
gonna-
you see? I think she just signed with. Speaking of Holly Holm, not that I've been paying attention or anything, but
What'd she do?
she signed with PFL. I believe it was PFL.
Oh,
Yeah, she
really?
signed. Yeah, it said that she decided, and that was, it's on the social media. It doesn't mean it's always. I know it doesn't mean it's always, but the contract ends some point, so maybe one
Damn,
day.
that's
I know.
that's kind of a bummer. I was hoping that she'd come throw hands. If it's GFL, listen, Big Ben's saying it's GFL. If it's GFL, I'm not worried about that.
That's what. Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. She could still fight for BKFC and be signed to GFL. I don't know.
Yeah,
We
I'm
don't know
looking
if
right
that's
now.
Maybe it
gonna
was
be like
GFL. I just knew she signed with someone. I was just
Okay.
she was keeping her options open for a second.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, right? You guys are gonna go out there and you don't have to do anything other than what you normally do. You know what I mean? Like the men and women of the BKFC, you always put on a fucking knockdown, drag out event
It is.
that is produced to the highest level. If they do anything like they did in Spain, in Dubai, then they're going to fall in love with the company, and it's just going to grow even more than it already has.
I think it's going to be even better. Spain was amazing, but I think this is going to be bigger, better. The fights are just the ones that even just are now announced. It's going to be insane. I love
It's
it.
going to be insane, and you're going to have an opportunity to walk out of there as a world champion. It's fucking insane.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is
PFL,
what I've
by the
worked
way.
for my entire career. This is the top, the champ. This is my time.
Yeah, Mike
It's
said
everything you've been dreaming about. It's everything you've been working for.
Yep.
And it's happening because you've talked to us multiple times, even off the record. We're just chit chatting, and this is what you've been waiting for this to happen because it gives you a real goal, to attain. And then after that, you have a future. So
Yep.
it's not like did you feel like you're uncertain? Like obviously you want to fight, right? But you're kind of uncertain. Like what does the future bring? Is there ever going to be a title? Like I'm not going to cut weight and start trying to fight, because then if you cut weight and fight and you make it to the title and say then you got to cut weight every fight. You're going to cut all the way down.
but there wasn't even a
you don't wanna do that,
135
right?
title.
Yeah,
Right,
so I had to go all
crazy. Yeah, exactly. Like it's wild.
Jessica would have to cut off one of her fucking
leg,
arms,
yes.
or one of
it's-
her arms
Easy.
from the
That's
knee
easy.
down.
It's so funny because people don't think I'm very big because I'm lean. I walk around, I walk around healthy, God forbid. But but when they get next to me, they're like, "Damn, you are big." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm not little."
Right. Yeah, with no belt at 135,
Not
like
yet.
Mike was saying, there was no title anywhere in the future for you, and unless you cut a leg off. But
I'm honestly
now-
so grateful that they gave this opportunity, because putting out a 145 title, it's just it was awesome of Dave, the team, BKFC, everyone that came together for this, and I'm super appreciative.
They should introduce a 135-pound title and let Christine and Pittman fight for it, since that seems to be the fight that she wants anyway. And Crystal has done plenty for the company and has won plenty of fights enough. Why not just go ahead? And then that, like we just said about the 145, now that there's a belt introduced, more 35ers will start showing up. That's how you build it. Like, You got your featherweight fight, Borga and Rankin going out there. Shit, throw Misfit and freaking Crystal Pittman on there. Why not?
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm sure they're gonna get a belt. I mean, I think that when they see this is gonna be bringing more females, I think that will, like, open the door for all the other weight classes, women.
Now you're fighting Hannah Rankin, and like we all know what she did in her boxing career. She won a lot of fights. She won belts. She fought Clarissa Shields. She's like fought the top of the top.
Mhm.
Everybody thought she was going to go out there in Marbella and just walk through her opponent, even though it was a late replacement. It didn't matter. Like the consensus was former world champion, former 2-time world champion Hannah Rankin is going to just mop the floor with this chick, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, now, how do you see her bouncing back from that first performance? We talked to her, and she was very admitting. She admitted that it was a learning experience for her. She had to download everything. This was not the same as boxing. You have 2 fights under your belt. What do you see out of Hannah Rankin in that first fight, and what do you think of what kind of Hannah Rankin do you think will come into this one?
I definitely think that she was baptized by fire, but a lot can come into play. It was her first bare knuckle, way different than boxing. It's 2 different sports. But she had a last minute replacement as well for her fight, like she had mentioned in her previous interview. But you know, I think she should have mopped the floor with that girl. Not to put anything against or disrespect her other opponent. I love that girl. She's a tough girl. But I think everyone was expecting that, and it didn't happen. I think she is going to make the necessary adjustments. I never underestimate anyone. I've never given her the disrespect of her entire career. I do respect what she's done with boxing. I do respect how I think that she even said in multiple interviews and with people that she is training harder than she ever has it before. She's gonna need to for me. I hope she brings the best version of her to this fight because I want to beat the best version of her. I don't want a half-assed one. I don't want any excuses. I want the best version of her.
We got a couple good questions from the audience here. I love that, and I do believe she's gonna come in different than the first
I
one.
feel like everybody does so much
Yeah.
better. Before you ask the question, Kyle, we were talking. I think we were talking to Austin Trout, and I brought up the fact that like his first fight, yeah, he went in there, he did his thing, or whatever. But like, I wasn't overly impressed. And then people were talking about him fighting Luis Palomino, and I was like, hell no, he can't fight him right now. I feel like he needs another fight, right? This guy's the pound for pound #1. He's undefeated. He's been #1 forever. He had defended his title 5 times, I think, at that point. Okay, I was wrong, way wrong. So he just
it
kind of
can't
had to
happen
just
like
get
that.
going.
Yeah, it can happen like that. Someone can like make the tweaks that they need to make him more comfortable for bare knuckle. That can absolutely happen. We're gonna find out because
Yep.
I'm telling you, like, she's talking about how she's had more time in the squared circle than me. All right, cool. That's because you didn't finish your 2 opponents. You didn't, or your 1 opponent. Like I finished both of mine. So yes, I mean you can say that there's more time in the squared circle, but I don't really think it matters with bare knuckle. Yes, experience matters with anything, but like I said, you either have it or you don't, and I have it with a lot of power. So, and my technique's just getting better and better. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And yeah, you're in a gym that knows what they're doing when they're training for this sport too, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to go to this question right here. From Big Ben. Ask Jessica, after watching that fight again, I'm assuming he's talking about the Hannah Rankin debut fight against
Deborah
Debbie
Melhorn.
After watching that fight, after taking the judge and referee seminar that you went to, how do you feel about the outcome of the Hannah Rankin debut fight? Is basically
Yeah, it definitely was a different scene from being out in the, from being able to see it the way they showed it on the video, from seeing it from, sitting in the seats in Spain. Yeah, it definitely was. It's not much different, but I can see where the points come into play. That's all I say.
Okay. So were they talking about, like, I didn't, obviously Mike and I weren't at that seminar, but were they talking like was this decision like debatable? Did a lot of people think that Hannah lost?
Yeah, yes. And
Okay.
I think they were using as an example, and it was a good example. It was a good example along with the other ones that they showed. They were showing a lot of videos that showed good examples and bad examples and what the crowd thought. And it's crazy, knowing the difference between what the referees and judges are looking for. It does show a difference. And I've never been keen on the judges, so I
Right.
don't like
So,
leaving it to the judges.
right. Don't leave it to the
But it was
judges. That's
nice. It shows you a different outlook for sure.
Is that why you went to the refs and judges course, to get it overall, like, a better understanding? Yeah, you're a fighter. Maybe
Yeah.
one day you'll be a judge or a ref. We don't know. Maybe you will. But to get a better understanding of what they're doing, so it helps you
what they're
in
looking
your
for.
fight. Why not know everything?
And it really has. It gives you a better outlook on everything, and it really does help you as a fighter. And it's just your
Wow.
fight IQ in general.
Yeah.
Very, very smart.
Yeah, that's cool.
And were there a lot of fighters at that seminar? Did you see a lot of other fighters there?
There was other fighters. There wasn't a lot, but there was other fighters, and I think they were there to do the same thing. Grow their fight
Just
IQ and
learn,
make
yeah.
their fighting better in any aspect that they can, and have something when you're done fighting that you can lean back on. Like you said, if you want to be a ref or judge or whatever, you have that knowledge, you have the certification afterwards. So
Wow.
gives
That's
you that.
awesome.
It was
Good
awesome.
for That is
That's a
very
good idea.
smart.
That's
Did
yeah.
somebody
Sean did
recommend?
amazing. Everyone was taken such good care of, and I would highly recommend it for anyone, even if you're not a fighter. It was
Were
amazing.
you already interested in going to that, or did like Wheelock talk to you at an event and say, "Hey, you should come to the seminar"? Like, were you already planning on going to that, or
I was
did
already
someone
thinking
talk to you?
about it, and we were talking through Messenger for something, and he was like, "Hey, just let you know." And I was like, "You know what? Done." So I logged it all that night, pretty much.
Nice. Yeah, Mike and I were considering going, and Wheelock asked us to come out, and it just didn't work with our work schedules and stuff because, as you know, we're still full time for the Connecticut Guard. So
That makes it a
until
little bit more difficult.
until
We'll
they
get
Because it
you
check
was
sometime.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you had to go out there, for the whole weekend, and it's a couple day
Yeah.
thing. Some people only went for the one day. I wanted to get as much in as I could.
After
Yeah.
taking that event, I mean, after taking that seminar, do you like have a little? I don't know. Like a lot of people dog the judges a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of
I have
people
way
shit.
more respect for them. If
Right. I
that's
was
what
gonna
yeah,
say
100%.
you got respect for how like that's a
It's not
intense.
easy.
There's a lot of
And you get one
responsibility.
chance.
You gotta
Exactly.
make your decision quick, right? Like
And
it's
they were showing videos where, I mean, they couldn't see it. The judge or ref or whatever, specifically the ref in this case, you can't always see. I don't know how he didn't see some of the hair pulling and stuff like that, but you can't always see some, and you're gonna get a lot of backlash on that. I mean, I feel bad for him, but you're human. That's
Yeah.
the point blank period is humans make mistakes. So it's not always gonna be 100%, but they're gonna do the best they can.
Hey, I have a question from Kai Stewart's mom, actually, in the audience. Have they talked to you about like? She says, "Do you have to wear anything different when you fight over there? Cover up more?" Have they talked to you guys about that? Like
That's
They
certain kind of music you can walk out to. I know that the Arab countries over there, you
I guess
can't
I
do
gotta
some.
what I gotta figure that out because my music's kind of rough sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do know that you have to cover up your shoulders. There is rules. There is no public affection. Like there's
Right.
some stuff that people need to read up on.
So, but you can't have like your midriff showing or anything like that, right? Which is weird because men are going to be out there shirtless,
Yeah, I
fucking
think.
nipples out, just beating the shit out of each other. But you
Yeah, I
guys
was gonna
can't
say
show
as
your
long as
belly
it's
button.
fighting, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay.
any kind
It's
of
very different. Yes, it's very different there
yeah.
than being in like the Middle East, like we were in, right? Like it is very different. However,
You had
it
to cover
also
your
is still
tattoos.
very different than America. It might seem like you can get a false sense of security when you go there thinking like, oh, look at this. It's not the same as what I thought it would be. It's not as strict, I hate to go here, but like there's no Sharia law there, right? However, there are some undertones, I'm sure, and you might not ever see it while you're there, but they definitely have strict laws, and you might not see it at all. But if you break a law, you could be in very big trouble. Not to scare you or anything, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, but you might as well just look up the laws, obey them the best you can.
For sure, because I don't know if weed is legal there, but we have seen like what was the WNBA player, and I know this wasn't
Brittany Griner was in Russia when she had
weed, and she was going to be locked up for a long time for like the most ridiculous thing. You wouldn't even like a cop wouldn't even bother you for that in America at all. Even
and I know a lot of fighters. I don't smoke, but I know a lot of people do, and they gotta you gotta watch out over there because they will get you. You're not even allowed to drink in public, like be intoxicated in public. So you just gotta watch out.
Yeah. Yep. Just gotta be careful. Make sure you learn the law.
Good thing I don't drink either, so I guess I'm good there.
Right. And like we said earlier, you're on the second day, so you have to be on your best behavior anyway.
Yes.
Right? You're gonna be weighing in on the first day and fighting on the second day.
Yeah.
It's great. Like you're gonna be out there for a week though, right? They're gonna probably have like press conferences and fucking all kinds of crazy shit. Do you know has anybody heard, and Mike, have you heard any of the musical acts? They're gonna be doing concerts and shit too. Anybody know what that is? Greenback?
I haven't heard anything.
No,
I don't.
I'm assuming it's Greenback, right? It's probably Connor's people, like
probably.
Yeah, Wesley Killeagle says no flashing celebrations.
No.
Darn, nobody wants to see my shit anyways, like in Manchester. Sorry.
Yeah. Relax, Wesley Killeagle. Oh, man. Well,
you know, ruining it for everybody.
I've been to a bunch of countries over in that part of the world. I've been to Qatar, but I have not been to Dubai. I'm very jealous that you guys are going out there. You're going to get an opportunity to be a world champion. Mike and I won't be making that trip, unfortunately. I think we probably could have got ourselves on that trip, but I went ahead and booked a freaking family vacation for me, my wife, and my 2 kids the second week of April before this was announced, and I'm like, fuck. And then somebody was like, "Are you going to go to the Italy one?" I'm like, dude, I'm still full time, right? I only have so much leave. And if I was like, imagine if I went to all this shit, like went to Dubai. I'll go to Dubai. I'd have to tell my boss. I'd be like, hey, I'm putting in a leave slip for April.
Yeah, the amount of traveling I did last year, it's insane to try to make it to every single, like, especially when they're going country, different, like, it's all over the place. I don't know how you'd be able to do it.
Right. I would have to put in a leave. I put in a leave for April, and they'd be like, yeah, April what dates? No, April.
Yeah, all of April. Yeah,
like the whole thing.
April's Dubai, then you go on vacation, and then you come back. We go to freaking Italy. You just never go to work for an entire month. That's fine. Super easy.
Italy is high on my list, though, man. Italy is high on my list too.
Man. If I was gonna go out to Italy, I would have to bring my wife with me, or I would be in trouble. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
take you into the Coliseum.
So. Yeah.
She might take your ass to the Coliseum and fuck you up.
All right. Well, hey, I cannot believe that you're getting this up. I mean, I can believe it, but it's such a freaking mind blow that you guys are going to Dubai and you're doing these things and you're fighting at these whatever the venue is going to be. It's going to be the best thing in the fucking world. And unfortunately, we're not going to be there, but we wish you the best of luck. I know you're going to do great. I know that your gym is going to have you well prepared. Shift always has all their fighters always well prepared. Before we wrap it up with you, is there anything that you want to get off your chest or say anything or shout any people out? You can go ahead and do it right now.
Honestly, like you said, my team, I couldn't be where I am or getting as good as I am without them. They are the special sauce, and Shift team I love them. They're amazing. All my sponsors that have been there with me from the get-go. This is my time, and I am going to make everyone proud. I love my family. They're so supportive, especially this is kind of a short notice thing. So not short notice, but I mean, 6 weeks is a little bit short notice, but it's going to be great. And I can't wait to showcase.
I love it. Best of luck to you, Jessica. You're always welcome back on. You always have a good time talking with you. Mike, do you got anything else for Jessica Borga?
Well, as Kyle said, I wish we could be there. We will not be there, but we'll be there in spirit, and we'll be covering the event anyways. You know what I mean? It's not like we're going to miss
I wish that you guys could be there too. Then thank you again for having me on. You guys are always amazing.
Maybe Mike and I will do a watch party at Mohegan Sun for this.
We could do that.
We could
That'd
do
be
that.
awesome.
Yeah,
That'd
We
be
do
awesome.
those every once in a while. We have watch parties and we get a bunch of people up in Tom's Watch Bar and everybody has a good time, has drinks, and we
Yep.
give away some free shit and
Hell
everyone
yeah.
and people that weren't really fans of the sport watch it and they go, "Wow, this is what
Yeah.
you guys cover? Like what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so many people that have never which I'm surprised about because of how fast it's growing. They see it and they're like, "Holy shit, I've been missing this." And it just needs someone to show them. And then once they're hooked.
Right.
Yep. That's
We
our
have
whole
a
thing.
At one of our watch parties, we have this older master sergeant, this guy named Christian. He came out, Mike, you know who I'm talking about, right? He came out, he's sitting at the bar. I didn't expect this dude to come out to the watch party at all. Like he's not the kind of guy that you would think to even come watch a combat sport of any kind, but he comes to the watch party and he's sitting at the bar and like he stayed for the entire event and watched every single fight. And at the end of the event, he was like, I had no idea that this is what you were doing. This is
Yeah.
like I was like, I'm glad you like it, dude. I didn't even think to like invite him to the watch party. But like word got around at our unit and we have 300 people working at the facility. So they're like, word got around to him and he showed up and he was just like, wow.
That's awesome.
This
And that's
shit is
I met
legit.
someone in Miami that was like there for I want to say some other kind of sport, but then they like were walking past and saw the banner for, BKFC and everything. They got tickets and they're like, "This is the first one I went to," and I ended up meeting them afterwards and they were just amazed. They were blown away. I love that.
It's got that effect on people for sure. Well,
It does.
That's the big thing, is actually introducing people to the sport. A lot of people don't know, no matter how big it seems to us, we're in the combat sports like hemisphere, right? Like people don't know that the sport exists. They just don't know. And when you show them, they're blown away. And even when they see it, sometimes they don't believe what they're seeing. They're like, wait, so their hands are wrapped, right? Like they're wrapped. Like, no, it's
Yeah.
bare knuckle. It says it in the name. It's like, yeah, but I see the wraps. Like that's
Bare
just around
knuckle.
their wrists. Like their knuckles are exposed. Like you're just watch, look. They're like, really? And even some people go see it live. We know one person at the last event that didn't even think it was real, and she was watching it live. She thought it was planned out, and we were like, no.
That's some
people,
great
look at them.
acting.
Look at them. We were at the after party at Tom's.
couldn't believe
like,
it.
look at their faces. They're all cut up. Shady Grady's got stitches all over his face. He got Cito. His hands freaking swollen. He's got bruising. He's wearing glasses because he's got 2 black eyes. Like, it's crazy. It's not fake.
No
it's
way
real.
that you
People,
could think that that's fake. I mean, just
Yeah.
That's what when she said
People
that,
don't believe it.
she's like, it just
Crazy.
seemed a little too planned out. I'm like, what did you think you were watching? That's what I asked her. I was like, what did you think you were watching? What did you think you
amazing.
were at? Did you think you were at like a pro wrestling event or something? She's like, no, but it just seemed like it seemed very scripted. I was like, this is the least fucking scripted sport you'll ever see
Yeah.
in your entire
Yeah,
life.
I'm surprised I could not imagine why someone would say that.
Right. And then
Yeah.
I asked her, I was like, have you ever been in a fist fight before in your life? And she's like,
No.
no. Nope.
Yeah.
Well, then you know.
That's
Then
it.
you don't. Then you have no idea what it's like to get hit in the face or hit somebody in the face. You cannot fake that fucking shit.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can't fake the sound. You can't
No.
fake that. You just can't fake the bone on
I mean,
bone.
you can fake it, but it looks totally fake. It looks.
I was
like
gonna
pro
say, yeah,
wrestling.
nobody wants to actually get hit if it's fake.
No way.
Oh,
No
and
friggin' way.
Hey, last thing for one of the commenters asked. They said Britain's been on this show 10 times. How many has Jessica? You are now on for the 3rd time. I just checked.
I was gonna say at least a few now.
This
Hey,
is 3. This is
And this
3.
isn't counting interviews.
she's
out of
also
it.
fought what 13 going on 13.
This is her
or has she-
13th fight.
This is gonna be her 13th. Yeah, so this is my 3rd.
Yeah.
So
This is her 3rd time. This is her 3rd time on the show, but we have definitely done
still a
probably
newbie.
3 live in person, 3 or 4 live in person interviews
Yeah,
with you
at
at
events.
events.
Yep.
So
like 2
She's in
minutes because
you.
you favorite time. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
she is a Mike and missionary, as they say.
That's right.
Missionary.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
what
it.
we call people when they come. So when people sit down to watch the show, they're in the missionary position. We call them the missionaries, the Mike and missionaries. At least that's what I call them. So
Yeah.
if they don't know now, they know.
I love it.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime.
Everybody else, pay attention because day 2 April 5th, 2-day event in Dubai, Rankin versus Borga for the women's featherweight championship, the inaugural fight. This is it. This is the first time ever there will be crowned a featherweight championship and the champion in the women's division. I can't wait. It's going to be insane. Man, definitely a little bit jealous, but we'll be there in spirit. Thank you so much for coming on. And, we'll see you soon for the 4th appearance on the Mike and Mish show. All right.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome.
All right.
Have a good
Take
night.
care.
See
Adios.
Dude, awesome conversation with two awesome people coming on here in the missionary position, like 325 others have, Mike. Unbelievable.
Everybody takes that position. The Mike and missionaries are here, and they're here to stay, baby.
That's
Go and
right.
spread the word. Let people know. Get in position. It's time.
It's time.
Yeah, it was a good night. It was a good
yeah.
night. 2 good talks. These are the type of nights where when this show's coming up and I see the guests, it's like, it's just so easy. I don't have any kind of pressure. I don't feel any pressure at all. Like this is an easy, like, I'm like, it's going to be 2 easy conversations. I already know, we've been covering the sport for a long time. So for the most part, it's easy to just keep a conversation going. But when you have a bunch of unknown people coming on, you're doing some research, you don't know how they're going to be.
Yeah.
Are they going to give you 2-word answers and then just stop and stare at the camera and you're not realizing that's what they're going to do every single time? Like, that's tough. So sometimes,
Dude,
those are the toughies. So this is good. This is good. We went overtime with both of them.
I love these kind of shows too, because the only kind of research I had to do at all was to see how many damn times Britain has been on this show. And I was like, man, Britain's back on the show again tonight. She's doing it again. She's fighting again. She's going to Dubai. I gotta see how many times she's been on the show. And that's what I did. That was my research for this event. For this episode, the extent of my research was, wow, she's been on 9 times already. And we've interviewed her 10 times at events. And we hung out with her at like 7 different fucking events. I'm going to watch the first interview I ever did with her. That was my my research here. And I'm going to tell you, man, it was a good one. You guys should check that one out. Go back and watch it. It's fun.
Well, that's what's fun. That's what's fun about like continuing to cover and getting to the point where like we know a lot of stuff here about the fighters and about the past and all this, the intricacies of the fighters, their lives, the backgrounds, because we've talked to so many people so many times and been to so many events. Then now you can look into these statistics that you don't know yet. So you're just looking them up. You're the first one looking at these statistics. Yes, these are about the show, but there's other things that we learn about the sport that no one else is looking into. For instance, I'm texting with Gio the other day. And for those of you who don't know who Gio is, he's a good friend of ours. He is cornerman for Mike Richmond, the champ. And he texted me the other day asking me about how many fights there's been in BKFC. And I didn't really have the answer for him, but I did say like, hey, well, in Sturgis, the 1000th fight was when Zach Kalmus fought Shaw, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Shaw, however you want to say his last name, right? That was the 1000th fight.
Yep.
So I went in and counted all of the fights afterwards. And I believe, I did this last event too, right? So from my calculations, there's been 1,192 fights in BKFC up to this point. So there's a little statistic for you.
So they're about to hit 1,200 at this next event. Is the next one in Albuquerque, right? And after
Yeah.
Albuquerque is
Yep,
UK,
28.
back to UK. Yeah,
Yep. So
incredible,
there's
man.
a little fun little statistic that you're probably not going to hear anywhere else, or you're definitely not going to hear it anywhere else. And I went and counted them. So, you know, that's as close to that I could get. I mean, there could have been a fight that was canceled that maybe was on, because I went to Wikipedia and you just click on each event and I counted each one. So if something got canceled, I don't know, but that's about where we are. 1192.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. And I love the fact that we've been around for about fucking 950 of them. You know what I mean? It's great. For those
You mean
that
live? Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy how many we've been to now. Britain Hart, though, she's a fascinating subject when it comes to bare knuckle fighting. Her mom is always on the show, and we love Monica. She's in the comments right now talking about how she's the most experienced bare knuckle fighter on the planet, which she does. She has the most minutes in the ring. She has the most rounds in the ring. She's probably thrown the most strikes in the ring. She probably holds every one of those like most ever records, you know what I mean? As far as bare knuckle fighting goes for a female. When I first interviewed her, we were talking about preparing for Britain Paige Van Zandt. At that point, she had only fought 3 times. She had fought Beck Rollins, Christine Faria, and Randine Ekholm, right?
Yep.
She was training at a YMCA without a coach, without a team. She was doing 2 45-minute sessions with some, and she says the guy's name in that interview. For her first fight with Beck Rollins, she was like, "Yeah, I didn't even have a team. I was just like I was training myself at the local YMCA. Um, and I didn't have a coach, and I hooked up with this guy who was like giving me 45 minutes of his time twice a week to, teach me how to box." I mean, she was already a boxer, but like that was the only training. She was already a boxer prior to, but like she did not have a team. She did not have a trainer. And for her to go bell to bell with fucking Beck Rollins in her first fight, it's crazy. And then she goes and fights. She fights Beck Rollins in her very first one, and then the second person that they throw at her is Christine Faria. It's fucking nuts, dude. And she loses. She gets a bad cut, and the doctor stops it, and she didn't want to stop. She goes out there and she mops the floor with fucking Randy Ekholm. I thought it was insane when we watched the fight. That they were saying, we got a good close fight here. I don't think it was close at all. I think she dominated until she finished her in the 4th round. It was like, I don't know. I don't know how it's considered a close fight by the commentary right now. I know that the commentary is trying to like maybe sell a close fight to the people that are watching, so they don't turn.
Yeah, like don't turn off this.
We got ourselves a very close fight going into the 4th round here. No, you don't. Nope, you don't. Britain Hart was beating Randine's fucking face up, and she gets the win. Has the face off with Paige Van Zandt, gets that Knucklemania 1 main event against Paige Van Zandt, who was the biggest name coming into the company at the time. They had other they had legends from the BKFC already. I mean, from the UFC. They had the Chris Liebens and the Leonard Garcias that had already fought for the company, but Paige Van Zandt was a fucking superstar at that time. She didn't have the greatest record in the UFC, but she was a superstar. She was Dancing with the Stars. She was a model. She was the fucking pretty girl that everybody wanted to see. And Britain's star really fucking exploded at Knucklemania 1, right? It was she kind of spoiled the party for Britain Hart. I mean, for Paige Van Zandt. She spoiled the party, and since then, it's been just off to the races for Britain ever since. And she's just gotten better and better every single time she goes out there. And it's pretty awesome that we kind of been on the ride with her the whole time, you know?
Yeah. So when we went to that fight, like obviously you talked to Britain, and that's what like obviously made, I mean, maybe not obviously, but that's what made me want to know, like, oh, this Britain Hart, like, I want to see her fight Paige, but in my head, I'm thinking to myself, like, Paige Van Zandt's a pretty big star. Like, if they're putting her up against this girl, there's no doubt in my mind that they want her to lose, right? I mean,
Right.
no one's going to come out and the company's not going to say, like, we want you to lose, Britain. You know what I mean? We're putting you in the main event. But obviously, if you're going to freaking invest all this money into somebody and she's got a name and people know her, she's going to bring a following. Regardless, people wanted to follow and see what was going on. We all know that at that time for, Paige Van Zandt to win would have been bigger for the company at the time, but in the long run, they ended up with someone, and it was very unlikely, you know what I mean? This isn't something that you could ever foresee, like Britain winning that fight, and she has only lost one time since then, and it was against Faria, who has been the champion like the entire time in the 125-pound division. So a bigger fighter who the second time they fought, like you said, it was a lot closer than people might think. It was close. And I remember watching that, you and I and Shawnee Mack were watching the fight, and we were like, holy shit, like Britain just won that round. Britain just won this round. So that was a good fight. That's the only fighter she's lost to since then. And she lost to her twice. So she's really, and she avenged her other loss. So like she has come from there, and we already talked about her progression in the sport. So it's like, I don't know, man. It really was insane. They got a champion who now is still the champion, and she has become viral. She's had viral moments. People know who she is. And because people know her from the sport, it like just amplifies the sport that much more. It's not like, oh, hey, Paige Van Zandt is the champ and she's from the UFC. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's how people would see it. They would say, oh, Paige Van Zandt from the UFC. They wouldn't say Paige Van Zandt from the BKFC. Even if she was the BKFC champ, they'd say fucking from the UFC. That's what would happen. And that's just what everybody would always think. So with Britain doing it, it's way, way better. It is. It just is.
Yeah.
And she's just now is BKFC. She is the strawweight champion. She is that person.
And she gets the co-main on a Dubai card against Ty Emery, who has a huge following herself. It's another great opportunity for both of those women, man. Her and Ty get to go out there in Dubai and do their thing, and it's fucking fantastic. It'll be the 13th time for her stepping in there. It's another big name, like you mentioned, Paige being the UFC person, but she also fought Pearl, who was she fought Faria, like you said, twice. She's fought everybody they throw at her, and to be honest with you,
Ben sent me this picture here of Britain at Knucklemania.
Is that Knucklemania 1?
Yep, that's Knucklemania 1. And then I think this might be Knucklemania 2. Is it Knucklemania 2?
No, that's Knucklemania 1. Isn't that the same?
No, she's got 4.0 on her.
4.0.
Yeah, that is. This is 1.
That's 1.
So they're both 1?
Yep. She was 4.0 going into that fight.
Well, he said here's Knucklemania 1 and Knucklemania 2, but I think he's wrong.
Oh, he's saying that this is Knucklemania 2 and the other one's Knucklemania 1.
Yeah.
Because the one where it says 4.0 on her shorts, that's when she was a fucking
This is Knucklemania 1. Yep.
Yep. So awesome shit, man. Congratulations.
But I don't think this is number 2 because look at the sign in the background. It just says Knucklemania. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't
Get your shit together, Ben. You begged for the damn picture and you told me the wrong goddamn thing. Now Ben's a negative 2% owner. Unbelievable.
Still a missionary, but a negative 2% owner. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah. So congratulations to both Britain and Jessica Borga for their opportunities on, what should be once again the biggest event the BKFC puts on to date. Once that happens, and then they'll top that one again somewhere down the road, and the train will just keep on moving. Always a good time talking to both of them. So thank you both for coming on the show tonight. I'm going to shout out our sponsors real quick. We got Dynamic Life. If you go to LIV Dynamic on Instagram, it is at LIV Dynamic. Hit the link in the bio. Get over to Dynamic Life. You could become a patient in just 20 seconds. Get your weight loss, sexual health, and anti-aging in line, and live a healthier lifestyle. And then get over to the Rasha at Rasha Elite. That is at Rasha Elite on Instagram. They have a link in the bio as well. It'll bring you to their website, therasha.com. It is the official mindset and recovery tool of the BKFC and the Mike and Mish show. And we thank them both for continuing to give us a platform here to talk shit about the BKFC and fights, and not talk shit, but, talk our shit. We love to talk this shit, dude.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Mike, we're already halfway through the week. We got work tomorrow. No events this weekend, right?
Nope, not till the 28th.
Not till the
28th, Albuquerque. And, after that, there's going to be a lot going on in the next couple of months. So stay tuned. Mike and Mish will be on top of it. We will not be at that Albuquerque, but we will be having some people on from the card as well as many others. And, all the latest and greatest news. So pay attention to all of our pages. Give us a like, give us a share. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube for sure. Get over to YouTube and subscribe.
And do us a favor too. And Mike doesn't know I'm about to do this, but go follow our boy Lou Fuse, man. Fuse has been putting out a ton of awesome shit. And if you want a really good, if you're not following him already, you should be. But if you want like the equivalent of somebody from the other side of the Atlantic, someone on the European side of the world that knows everything there is to know about the fighters over there,
yes,
and the events that are happening over there, it's Lou Fuse. It's the Fuse UK on Instagram. He's fucking awesome, and he's always collaborating with us on shit, and we keep each other informed about. He'll keep us informed about fighters over there. We'll talk to him about fighters from over here, and he is I would consider him a real ally to the Mike and Mish show. So if you aren't already following Lou Fuse, and Jessica Borga actually mentioned an interview that he did with Hannah Rankin earlier.
Yeah,
go follow Lou. He's good shit, man. He knows his stuff over there, and he's doing big things with the BKFC on the UK side of the house. So shout out to Lou. And with that said, Mike, I don't have all that much more to talk about here. What do you got for these people?
Nope. All I got, Kyle, you know what it is, and it's peace.
Peace.